I'm going to start off this by saying that there are way too many reflective surfaces in this cabin, and I'm already blinded and we haven't even moved yet. Seriously?
No.
Yes.
It's fine. It's fine. We've got the interior to talk about. We've got a lot of things to talk about, but welcome to the Q8 decompression chamber.
It is, yes, I agree with that.
It's quiet in here.
Yes, it is. Did you feel the nice little hug that the seatbelt gives you as you leave?
It just kind of hugs you like,
reminds you.
I'm here.
Yes, I'm here for you.
You're watching Everyday Driver. We make a TV show, podcast,
and YouTube channels dedicated to great cars, driving adventures, and helping you find a car you'll love.
subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss a thing.
So this thing is quiet, and I admit
very.
that I came to the Q8 thinking that Audi just decided to build another slot, another SUV to fit some sort of identified market niche that wasn't being served.
BMW made the X6. So
And
Porsche
the X4,
decided.
don't forget the
Yes,
X4.
but the X6 started this madness. They built
the X4 wriggled in there somewhere.
let's take an SUV, like a real SUV, if the real is a category. Take a real SUV and let's take out a seat and let's give it a sports car back and let's call it what do we call it? So they did that with the X6, and then Porsche decided we want some of that. And they were going to do the Porsche Cayenne Coupe. And Lamborghini needed an SUV, and we're all part of the Volkswagen family. So, while we're here, Audi should do one. Let's do a Q8. It's the Q7, but now with one less seat and a coupe back. Yay. We'll charge more, too. By the way, less seats, more money than the Q7.
Well, now, at this point, we have not driven the new Cayenne, the Bentayga, the Touareg, or the Urus, upon which this shares its platform. We have not driven those.
Platform sharing.
That's their whole
platform
point.
sharing is their thing.
That is their entire thing.
For sure.
And that's a good business decision. But I call it the decompression chamber because I wasn't expecting such a luxury feeling. I'm adding silence to my definition of time and space.
Agreed. Yeah.
Just quiet. It feels like it's an isolation chamber in here because they have used double pane glass in frameless doors. I thought for double pane glass you had to have the frame just for rigidity. They have proved you don't. In an SUV, amazed. That was a weird decision, but they're pulling it off.
I'm amazed by the frameless doors. I don't think of that as a luxury item, and yet they have maintained, as you're saying, a luxury feel in spite of having frameless windows.
Okay, so they have given it seats that are absolutely astounding. I know
they are good.
That the most expensive seats in the world have the words carbon and bucket in them. I realize that. They're not the most expensive seats ever.
Yeah, well, they're not the most comfortable either.
But they do so much.
Yeah.
I mean, both the front seats have the massage feature, and I know a lot of cars do nowadays, but then when you press the hot oil button, it actually squirts.
Oh, stop. No!
You're gonna arrive at your destination, and you're going to slither out of the car fully relaxed, because it's such a respite.
Yeah.
And I didn't expect that. I just thought, expensive Audi, it's going to be nice, we're going to like driving it, and it'll just be fine. I didn't expect to come away loving this, wanting to spend time here.
It's a wonderful place to be. It is, what is this one, $88,000?
$88,000. They start at $67,400, so you can build on that.
Oh. This has everything because, of course, it's a press car special. It does have
it's the special.
The adaptive suspension that will try to actually level the car out. It does have rear steering as well.
It does. It does. That is the chassis package, the advanced chassis package that you can buy. I think it's $2,700, and it's worth it. I admit, $88,000 is a lot of money. But when we're talking this level, and they start at 67, that's still not inexpensive.
No, it's not.
I get that.
It's not.
But if you're going to pay that much, what does Audi bring to the table?
True.
You've really got to bring something other than, you're a Mercedes and you're a Lexus. Now I'm thinking Audi is defining what SUVs should be.
Well, but let me tell you why.
I'm astounded by this car.
This is very impressive. Let me tell you why I actually think, I know this is weird, $88,000 for this is a good deal. First off, two things.
Are you kidding me?
No. First off,
$88,000 is a good deal?
Here's why. Side note, this is, by the way, one of the roomiest 5-seat SUVs on the market because it doesn't have a back bench. But that's not the reason it's a good deal. It's a good deal because of one word, Urus. There is no reason, honestly, there is no good reason other than you were showing off for the brand to buy the Lamborghini Urus instead of this car. This has the rear steering. The Urus has that. The Urus, it has the Lamborghini badge on it. It has the engine that is twice this powerful, but you're going to use it at Starbucks, okay? You're not going to take it out and drag race it. Stop it.
You're not going to bomb up a ski run.
You don't need that power in this. You're not going to use it other than bragging rights, and the badge is a bragging right, and the Urus is uglier. This is more attractive. Spend a quarter as much money. I'm going there. I'm going all the way there.
Fair enough.
Spend a quarter as much money. Get all the same tech. Power you can actually use. This is 330 horsepower, so with a bunch of torque.
Yeah.
Almost 400 pound-feet of torque. This is a 0 to 60 car of less than 6, and it's a 5,000 pound SUV. Honestly, ask yourself, do you need to go faster than that in your family hauler? No, you don't. Okay, so besides, yes, the Urus has got a fantastic exhaust note, and I understand that it handles like no SUV should. I get all of the reasons why you're supposed to get one. The reasons you need this like this, or the reasons you want to enjoy this, are all in this version at 88 grand. You saved you got it for 25%.
Honestly, I agree with you. I like this that much, and I'm astounded by how much I just want to sit here, and you're going to be refreshed after getting out of this, not just because of the tech, but because of the balance between, I think for most buyers, the ride height, and it's not a huge SUV. It's still not a low car, and it's still that eye level like Cayennes and Touaregs and everything we named that is still going to be in the sweet spot for what drivers want. It's like a big car. It's useful and it's luxurious.
It has actually
like that.
Wonderful rear seat space. Honestly, shockingly good rear seat space. I'm in dynamic mode. I'm hammering down a freeway. I'm weaving my way around trucks. I have more dynamic capability here than this should have.
I agree.
Because of that rear steer. A 5,000 pound, 5-seat SUV that is this big shouldn't handle this well. It doesn't handle like a sports car, but it's not a sports car.
It's not designed to be.
So
nothing about the platform
I don't understand. Other than bragging rights, other than branding, the Urus does not need to exist because the Q8 does, and it's more attractive than the Lamborghini. There should be nothing in Lamborghini's lineup where you could pull another car and be like, that looks more exotic and better, and the Q8's done it.
Sure. I mean, in that sense, the Q8's going to become common.
By that
line of thinking,
you're
funny
right.
enough, Rolls-Royce doesn't need to exist, nor does Pagani or Bentley or, any of the luxury car brands.
Yes.
But you want to see yourself just, that's my special thing, and the other owners were in this special club together, especially the Cullinan Club, when you're all driving your Cullinans, and you're all cool and special. I want to talk about the styling briefly. To your Urus point, Urus, however you want to say it, I think everything is on the table at this point because people do still say Porsche instead of Porsche, so however you want to pronounce the word of the Lamborghini SUV. I do like it. Honestly, I do like it. It's interesting, it's different, and it does say Lamborghini. If they were going to do an SUV, they have to differentiate themselves. They can't be kind of boring and staid, kind of like this one is.
But make it attractive. This is attractive.
I agree about the attractive part, but can you say that about any Lamborghinis? Wow, that's just a pretty car. They're striking, they're different, they're exotic, pretty. No Lamborghinis are pretty. I don't mean to insult Lamborghini. That's not my point.
You're saying they're more exotic than they are sensual.
They have to push it that far.
All right.
So the Audi designers looked at the Urus and went,
"Yikes!" They went, "Yikes!" Is what they went.
Let's just polish that off, and let's just start again. Let's just take that off, and let's actually do something nice. So if you look around this car, it actually pays homage to the 85 Quattro with the black insert on the taillights and the way the lines wrap. I want you to look at how sensitive the shoulder is. Honestly, you look at these lines, they're so sensitively done and so delicate. It's really pretty.
And it looks surprisingly compact for something that is not.
I took a photo that I posted on Instagram of this parked next to a Macan. Now, this is wider and a little bit longer, and it is beefier than a Macan, but the height of the two cars, it was just kind of like this suddenly could pass off as a Macan. Far more interior space, far more usable.
For sure.
I would buy this over a Macan.
Yeah.
Macans are less money.
Well, Macans are smaller and more dynamic, but if you're really buying I need a family SUV, a 5-seater, the Macan is a little small, to be honest. At that point, I'd buy a sedan if you're looking for usability. Space is not the place the Macan shines. It's dynamics.
No.
All right, I should swap.
I need to drive this. I want to say a note about the interior as we're here. It has a lot of screens. And you remember when everybody caught up to Audi, for years, they dominated interior styling and materials. They dominated, and everybody thought, a car can be this good inside? I had no idea. I like touching everything.
By the way,
everybody caught up.
Do the car journalist thing with us. Just go into your car, just touch everything inexplicably,
like
and find out what the nice materials are. Yeah, okay.
Okay, so they've graduated to the piano black plastic, which does leave a lot of fingerprints, but I will say Audi has brought the noise again. Their materials, their wood trim, rethought, and it's really quite nice.
It's very nice.
I like being here.
It's very nice. It is a very nice place to be. It doesn't need this many screens. The IP, the instrument panel in front of you, is fantastic.
Sure,
it's fantastic. Sure. Since the driver only interacts there with eyes, that should be a completely configurable screen, and it is, and it's got the full map, and I love that screen.
It is awesome.
I don't mind this awesome, has Apple CarPlay, controls everything screen here that's on the center. I hate the piano black and how covered with fingerprints this is the minute you get it anywhere.
It does.
By the way, you don't have to touch it.
That.
Someone gets near the car and somehow there's a fingerprint on it. But there's a screen below it now for all your HVAC controls. This should be traditional buttons and switches. It should be. It's too many screens. It's too much. I started this entire Fast Blast blinded by the light of the reflections off of this piece.
Yes.
Okay? So this should be traditional. And the argument was, and it actually was mostly aimed at Porsche, that too many buttons is too confusing.
Sure.
And that's the reason that we all went to touch screens, because which button does that? I don't understand. You don't look at this and find it to be far less confusing. It's got a jumble of everything. Try to find the right place to touch. It isn't like it's super intuitive. I think the issue is you can't fix stupid.
Wow.
Whether it's too many buttons or it's too many things on the screen, you just have to sit and figure it out. We haven't made it better because it's a screen, and I'm going to go there. The Navy is taking screens out of their destroyers because they're confusing people.
They are, but they're trying to steer their ships with the screens. I still have a steering wheel in here. And
yes, you do.
I do have a competing thought to offer you.
But my point is, everything doesn't need to be a screen. HVAC controls right here, that it's an extra screen that isn't necessary. That should be traditional buttons and knobs.
You have noticed with the knobs available that every car manufacturer that is listening to customers, whatever they decide to do with their screens, there's still a traditional knob for the radio, for the volume.
Or we all scream.
Maybe for the fan speed, but it's
sometimes
always for the volume knob. And you dive for that. The companies that are listening have the knob, and the Audi is no exception. But I do have a competing thought for you.
Okay.
And it's because
that's surprising.
It's because we spend so much time on our phones, and I feel like the thing that is distracting about driving is digging for information. It's the thing you want to find on your phone, and I'm fumbling for it. It's buried over here. Notice that Audi does not have a slot for your phone. They tuck it away under this cool double-hinged armrest.
Yes, they
and
do.
It's flat, and it charges right here. So therefore, it is out of your way, but if you still want information and you're digging for it, you've got plenty of information, and the car has it covered. Whatever it is, the screen in front of you with this digital globe, it's got Google Maps.
It's awesome.
It is unbelievable.
It's fantastic.
I remember when Audi introduced this at the SEMA show a few years ago, and I thought, that's going to be cool when it comes out. Here it is. So they've got all these screens, of course, CarPlay, as you mentioned, and everything that has better than haptic kinds of feel. It's not just a glass screen. It's actually got some feedback to it.
It does, for sure.
So then all the information is so covered and so taken care of, I found myself paying attention. I do hear you about a lot of screens, but I'm liking the tech side of me is liking how much information is presented.
You are that
it's
guy.
Clear. I like my massage seats with scrolling revitalization. I want to be revitalized.
Why don't you just drive? I love the instrument panel that has all the map and everything. That's great. I don't mind that this is a center screen. Again, I'm going to rage against the one down here on the console that is just reflective and unnecessary. And it has a chrome strip that is even more reflective.
Shiny. Everybody likes shiny things.
People that design with piano black have never met a child. I'm sorry.
There are designers who work at car studios with kids and families.
Do they have a grand piano that they cannot keep clean in their house? Because they need to buy, they should all be given a grand piano so that the kids can just do that. This is never
wiping
clean.
System now
this
on
is
instrument
never
panels?
clean.
Yeah, it's not. I don't love that.
The entire
but
piano black
case
plus
with
the
glass.
screen. I know.
Any glass, it's the same category, which is
so let's not add more.
All right.
And I like the interior, but it's a screen too far for me. Apparently that is my line. My line is 2 screens, 3 is just way past the line.
All right, fair enough. I want to talk about the driving dynamics and how unsuited this car is for North American roads.
Okay.
I say that because I imagine Ingolstadt to Munich, bombing along at Autobahn types of speeds. This thing is
sure.
amazingly capable.
Yeah.
Far more capable than it needs or deserves to be.
At 5,000 pounds, for sure.
Yeah. So I'm bombing along. Off the line, there is turbo lag. You don't really feel the punch, but then second, third gear, you're leaving everybody. And by the time you hit the freeway, I'm eating people's lunch. The all-wheel steering is really interesting because I can now keep a crisper line than most everybody on the planet, which is amazing in an SUV this heavy.
Yeah.
So I think this is so unsuited because of the speed it can carry and the speed it wants to maintain. When you're actually doing the speed limit, you're going to be like,
oh, I agree.
I'm bored. I think I'll just watch the road through the screen on this thing.
That's part of
wait,
that.
I should drive.
That's part of that silence thing you're talking about. It is so quiet and isolated in here that honestly, 80 to 90 miles an hour is that what that feeling is? That's what 55 is.
I looked down a few times and went,
yeah. You think I'm going 55, 60, you're doing 90 currently.
I mean, I got the bird from one woman who did it very slyly, and I wasn't trying to, I really wasn't. I was feathering the brake, and I'm just kind of like, could you, I'm not trying to be a jerk. I'm really not. This thing is fast, and it can handle, and it's surprising.
And the other thing, though, that actually made me like driving it was I got maybe 2 miles after I picked it up and hated it. And I had to dig into the vehicle settings, and I had to turn everything automatic off.
Oh, sure.
Don't help me with the lane. Literally.
The sensors have sensors all over this car.
Absolutely. And naturally, I think you and I both do this. Naturally, I will actually go from the inside of the lane to the outside of the lane on like a banking or like a curve on the freeway. This car does not like that. I should be turning more. Why am I not turning? And it will grab the wheel and it will turn it extra.
Yeah.
And I got really kind of wigged out, and it was like, what on earth? And I had to dig into the menu. Granted, this is the thing about touchscreens. Dig into the menu and find, and it was just like, if it can be turned off, and turn it off.
Me or you?
And then I liked it.
Yeah.
But until that was done, and granted, there's an individual setting. You can go in and you can set it up exactly as you want. So thank you, Audi, for giving us the ability to turn these systems off.
That's a good thing.
If you want the systems on, they're all there, and they are aggressive, and they are all about keeping you safe, so you don't have to worry about driving. Your own personal little Audi security blanket.
It kind of is.
The Audi Q8.
And it doesn't get boring. I mean, I'm surprised at how good the steering ratio is. I'm surprised at the feedback. And I'm shocked at how fast this thing can take everything.
It's very fast.
It can just take everybody on the freeway, and you're not even thinking about it.
No, not at all.
The sensors will try to intervene, but if you turn them all off, then you're probably better off.
By the way, can you see on camera the cascading light that is happening here, the reflecting off the center console? Ooh. That is not good news.
Speaking of light, Audi has paid attention to lighting everywhere, exterior and interior. Even at night, everything just has this nice tech glow to it. And then
during the day, the sun is glaring off the center console that makes you blind, but at night, it looks great.
They've angled it just like that kid next door trying to, with the mirror.
Somebody sat here and figured out, where can I hit the eyes the most? Anyway.
But the driving experience is something I want as the respite from the sports car stuff, the hardcore driving that you and I do. When it comes to this and you just want to kind of get away from it all, this is so surprising.
Agreed.
And it's got a lot of space. $88,000. It's a bargain.
My wife has a Cayenne that she loves. She drove this and was like, that would be a great thing for me to get into next. Then I told her the price, which is 3 or 4 times what we can actually afford. But what I didn't tell her, and I was stupid to not say it, is, yes, honey, $88,000 is very expensive, but it's 75% off a Urus.
So what you should have done is have her drive the Urus first, and then
go,
give this to her.
I can show you one that is a quarter the price and more attractive. Done!
Your house is on fire. Just kidding, it's not on fire, but your pipes burst. Does that make it better?